Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1571, June 25, and the year is 2025. The record high on this day was 98 degrees in 1934, and as chilly as 46 degrees on the morning of this day in 1957. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
Hail you! And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
I was noodling this morning, noodling around in my weather guide, just for the hell of it, with July coming up. I was wondering how many warm weather records were established before, and I just picked a year for the hell of it, 1980. I don't think that I can go back and check. I bet the results would be the same for 1970. But 26 of the 31 days in July have high temperature records established before, in fact, well before 1980. I'm just throwing that in. That's a bonus that you get for listening to the show.
Thank you for that.
What made you think of that?
I'm just curious.
Okay.
26 of the 31 high temperature records coming up in the month of July were established well before 1980.
You live and breathe GL the second you wake up, don't you?
I do.
Right away. Right off the
I can
bat.
disassociate. I can shut her down.
Yeah. I have advice for you, courtesy of an emailer who sent me this. It's a fellow calling into a radio show, and he can explain why it might have been North Dakota where he made the radio call. I don't know where this was, but he's talking about we never had tornadoes before, and so he's going to explain why we have them now.
Circles.
Hang on, let me restart that.
Yeah, we need to
I
very
thought it was just
beginning.
whispering.
Didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes. Didn't have tornadoes here.
He didn't have tornadoes.
You know, the phrase we don't use enough on the account of.
On account of.
You could start every sentence with on account of.
Play that guy again. He's my new hero.
All right. The only thing about these Facebook shorts is they queue up really weird.
I know.
Didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
So there. I mean, you can save yourself a lot of time now.
Enough said.
Don't worry about it. And you know what? We've got an increase in traffic circles.
I consider him my people.
You know what he is? A genius. He's a genius.
I need to back my North Dakotans. That is not a North Dakota.
Oh, yeah, it was, John. I think it was your neighbor.
I think, looked it up.
You know what? I think it's Western Douglas County, Minnesota. I think that's my people.
It's from Moosic, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
what is?
Yep, Moosic.
Well, okay, because the cynic in me is going to take over. That's got to be a bit. There's no way that's real.
The hell it isn't.
You said he called into a radio show?
Well, what do you think it was?
Don't you get out in the country a lot?
That's real, Reavers. That is
Chris,
real.
that could have been one of your uncles.
That's true. But at the same time, I always equate it to, remember when we fell for the gal that called in with the deer crossings to a northern Minnesota radio station?
Yeah.
And it was
don't rain on my parade.
Well, I'm not trying to.
Well, you are, though.
Okay, sorry.
This is real.
He sounds real, not like he's spoofing. He sounds like he's very serious.
This
Didn't
moron
have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
Yep.
On the account of you want to know why.
On account of you want to know why?
You want to know why?
Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Radio shows never have fake callers on the air.
But here's the difference.
never.
Those
Jesus,
fake callers.
Reavers, how long are you going to try to ruin everything?
Here's the
Shut up.
distinction. Here's the distinction. When those other callers call into the morning and afternoon shows, they're very polished. This guy was not polished.
That's a very good point.
When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
Thank you.
That sounds like an old caller to Monday Night Sports Talk, doesn't it?
Hey, attic man, I'm still in the attic.
Joe is a 31-year law enforcement veteran. I studied the broken windows theory during my time pursuing bachelor's and master's degrees, as well as during various training associated with policing. It probably also came up during my time at the FBI National Academy.
Wait a minute. You read this yesterday.
It's a different email, Kenny. Different email.
On account of...
I'm going to explain why.
County, you want to know why?
In any case, I have coined the broken windows theory of dirty dishes. What my exhaustive scientific efforts have discovered, particularly before our son moved out on his own, was that dishes or silverware left in the sink almost assuredly seem to attract other dishes, even though we have a perfectly good dishwasher only a couple of feet away.
Is he living with me? He's in my house.
A clean sink and counter area is much less likely to attract a mess. The broken windows theory is perfectly sound. Barney Fife pretty much summed it up in the 60s by telling Andy they had to nip it in the bud, and has application in all sorts of places. Signed, Dave. I agree. And I have another broken
I
windows.
left a butter knife in the sink last night before bed. When I woke up, it was half full of dirty dishes. I did the dishes this morning at 5 in the morning.
Yep, you're right.
I tend to like to not let that accumulate.
Right.
Yeah.
He's so right on account of he's right.
Daniel, here's the and this guy's right. This is the what's the ultimate broken window in the Twin Cities in our
Floyd.
Street lights?
Thank you. It's
Yep.
George Floyd. Joe, this is from Daniel. Playing off your broken window theory, I present you the ultimate broken window, the so-called George Floyd Square and the burned-out hull of the MPD Precinct 5. What better trophy to say that the criminals run the neighborhood? Who would possibly invest their time and money to improve their surroundings with blight like that? I'll take it a step further. Politicians and their NGO nonprofit henchmen feed off and gain power from their constituents' suffering. You can't allocate taxpayer money to your friends and buy votes without problems to fix. They lavish rewards on their voters via our social programs. The Minnesota DFL are simultaneously the firefighter and the arsonist, crisis and anxiety merchants. The Star Trib plays its part too. They are merely a consent manufacturing tool for those in power while maintaining the divide that paints their foes as bad and unreasonable rather than being functional journalists who are out to check on our government. Every bit of the blight combined with property and violent crime benefits the mystery. And this fall, Minneapolis is set to elect Omar Fateh, and you ain't seen nothing yet. New York just comfortably installed Zohar Mamdani as the so-called Democrat winner of the primary for the mayor's race in New York. They're not Democrats. They're Democratic Socialists of America. I spent some time reading about Zohar today. He's a professional activist.
Got citizenship 7 years ago? Is that right?
I also spent some time reading the Democratic Socialists of America platform. It's good to read it every once in a while. It's like hitting yourself over the head with a hammer. Just to remind yourself what's in store so long as people continue to not pay attention and continue to allow the voting in of these Democratic Socialists. They're They're thick on the Minneapolis and St. Paul city councils. We've gone through their platform before, if I'm not mistaken. For example, everything in life they want to be free, such as transit, energy, food. There isn't anything that's free. Somebody's going to have to pay for that. And anyway, I've already seen memes of the Statue of Liberty covered in a black robe, black gown with the
well, I can see it coming down.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so, if you want to visit New York, maybe see Hamilton on Broadway, I'd get there now because I think they're going the way of London if this guy gets elected. Now, does Omar Fateh have a real chance in Minneapolis?
Yep.
He sure does.
Probably does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, told you.
Time to remind you of the Robert Ferrigno books. Can I have a little author's corner, please?
Oh, well, I always have authors.
I know you do.
Yeah,
it might take a minute to find it. But John, you bring it up again, please. Bring the website up.
Sure.
I've got it. I wrote them down.
Right. I'm a big fan of an author named Robert Ferrigno. One of his early books was called The Horse Latitudes. I've told you all this before. I can't recommend them highly enough. Thank you.
It's time to jam with the mayor of GL with another Author's Corner.
Robert Ferrigno. And then for some reason, he went off on a tangent and did about 3 or 4 books with the word assassin in the title. What are they, John?
Prayers for the Assassin, 2006.
I'd write this down, GLers. Prayers for the Assassin.
Sins of the Assassin, 2008.
Sins of the Assassin.
And Heart of the Assassin, 2009.
Heart of the Assassin. And they are set in, very realistically so, because they don't like futuristic things, but these worked. They are set about, I don't know, I can't remember, 20 years from now, maybe 30 years from now. I think he's off. I think it's going to be much closer. When the country is run by Sharia law. And they're...
Not if.
Yeah,
when.
they're alarming, and they're unnerving, and they're well done, and they're all plausible. They're all really plausible, what life would be like. You'd still be going to, say, a baseball game, but things would be so different about it. And he did a nice job on those books. And if we continue to elect the Omar Fatehs and the Zohar Mamdanis, and we continue to listen to Ilhan Omar with her list of grievances about this country, she really does have. Is she ever joyful? No, serious question. Is she ever full of joy about anything?
Only while marrying her brother?
Maybe
that was uncalled for.
It was, but...
So when we bring this up, or I should say, when anybody other than a Muslim brings this up, you immediately, you're tagged as being anti-Muslim, or it's called Islamophobia. How do we answer to that?
With the truth.
Being?
The truth being that I think it's a nefarious operation. I don't buy 1 minute of it. And if that offends fervent Muslims who have no intention of killing anybody, I apologize. But beyond that, I don't see.
And how do you separate those two groups?
I don't know. know.
Nor do I, and I've been struggling with that.
Just stick to Sharia law. I don't care about the religious part.
No, okay, yeah. You know what? That's a point, yeah.
I don't know what... all I can offer you is that a better thinker than I am, Ferrigno, saw this and said, damn it, I'm going to write about it. And those 3 novels are really, really good.
If we're going to counter this movement, there's got to be a way to deal with that accusation right away, because they're going to keep throwing that. They're going to keep on throwing that at us.
Well, okay, my answer would be, much like the Democratic Socialists of America platform, which is entirely antithetical to the Constitution of the United States, so is the idea of Sharia law. It is antithetical to It's the mystery. It's antithetical to freedom and rules and responsibility. It places power in the hands of people who would monitor what you must believe rather than what you choose to believe.
Yeah.
And it's the DSA platform. You can just Google it, folks. Read it for yourself. I'm not making this up. My name ain't Alex Jones. Go read the DSA platform. It is the opposite of the Constitution of the United States. It's the opposite.
And for the time being, that and the Muslims seem to be operating arm in arm. How long that will last, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, where were we? This is a long... became a long aside, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic, though, and it's something that I think a lot of people are afraid to talk about, at least on the public airways or on podcasts or radio.
Here's a guy. What does he say here? Tony. Joe, I've been a longtime listener who would really appreciate a refreshed definition or explanation to what is a Mysterian. We can all glean it from your commentary every day that they are upside-down thinkers, but I would like you to please explain one more time just exactly what it is. Just as cockwomble has become one of our favorite words ever spoken, please, just for us, one more time, tell us what Mysterians are exactly and what they do poorly, why they make bad decisions, and why we should avoid them. Thank you, Tony. Well, Tony, just based on what we've been saying this morning, a Mysterian is ideologically predisposed to reject the Constitution of the United States and intend to bring about a different country where we would have trouble as garage logicians navigating it. We would find it difficult to not have a police force, to not have to wipe out criminal laws, to demand that everything be free. Again, the best advice I can give Tony is read the Democratic Socialists of America platform. It's out there in public. It won't cost you anything. So read it, and you'll find out what a Mysterian is. A Mysterian is someone who has found great fault with the founding of this country and intends to reinvent this country in the likeness they envision, which is beyond socialism.
It's funny how they've become more and more clearly defined throughout the years of this program. Years ago, it was just a theory, and you're trying to nail it down, and we know they're up to something. We don't know who and why, and now it's really easy to define.
And I've always given them this credit. They don't do anything else. This is what they do, and they work very hard at it. They're very good at it. They don't punch a time clock. They don't have families to feed. They don't have property to own. Most of them are renters. They don't believe in the things that the typical American family might believe in, and therefore electing them is such folly because they don't represent anything that your family might believe in. And yet they continue to win and win and win because they drum up the support, and apathy rules the rest of the crowd.
And they've successfully split what we used to call in Minnesota the DFL party.
There is no DFL party anymore in Minnesota.
Exactly. Thanks to this new movement.
In many cases, there's no more Republican Party. The problem on both sides are the extremes.
You're saying,
where's the party?
It's gone.
It's gone, Sid.
It's gone. Well, we didn't make it.
So New York is going to be saying the same thing
I don't know if this guy will win. It looks like he will.
He's got the DFL endorsement in New York.
There's no DFL. He's got the Democratic endorsement.
But Adams is running as an independent, so that's their hope, like us with Fry.
I don't know that Adams has a great record to point to.
But he's at least the incumbent.
Right. But I'm not sure that'll make much difference.
But we have to root for him to win, right?
He's got AOC and Bernie beating the bushes for him. I mean, he's.
What about Hansy, Mr. Touchy-Feely?
Which one?
Como?
Yeah.
Well, he
was beat out by this guy.
Well, now, yeah, he was defeated.
Oh, so he's gone.
Yeah, I don't know if he's decided yet whether he's going to abide by the endorsement.
He conceded, but he said yesterday, before all this happened, that he could still run as an independent. So who knows?
Or he'll run on the come-in Rangoon.
And as full of BS as he is, he's light years more American than Zohar Mamdani.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Jeez. Wow.
Does this affect you in Sioux Falls, I wonder?
God, no.
Huh? If you have a business that you're looking to move, expand, relocate, or start, maybe you want to consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota, just look at the numbers. It's a business-friendly tax environment with no personal or corporate or state income taxes. Sioux Falls is nearly 300,000 people with a well-educated, ready to go to work workforce. According to Empower, the most number one affordable city in the country. According to Forbes, the number one best small city for business and careers. Is it really that small? 300,000 people? That's bigger than St. Paul. And it's business friendly. It's almost 300,000 people. And as I've said, in addition to all the other taxes they also don't have an inheritance tax. And they have no limits on what your business can achieve. And they're very welcoming to entrepreneurs. They got a lot of money in the banks, too, in case you need a loan. Find out everything you need to know at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser. And Lennon?
Yeah.
Here's where I think it ranks.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
That's low.
Don't bite, John. Don't bite on that.
I don't even know what's going on.
Okay,
so
good. Okay. Hey, I got a great email from GLer Howard regarding Seafoam Bugs Be Gone. Says, Howard, I just completed a 1,675-mile journey on the old Road King across North Dakota, down to the Black Hills, then across South Dakota to make my way home.
Nice.
Yeah, Howard says, I like to be prepared for anything, so I packed everything I thought I'd need. One of the best things I threw in the saddlebag, a spray bottle of Bugs Be Gone in a microfiber cloth. The upper and lower Dakotas serve up some of the ripest, biggest, meanest insects around. But Bugs Be Gone made it easy enough to wipe away with a single swipe with no scrubbing, and gentle enough to use on my helmet visor, which I needed to do more than he thought he would have. Bugs Be Gone kept the field of vision crystal clear, and he had no idea it would serve as a safety item. You're right, Howard. It is a safety item if you're on the bike. With biking season in full swing, Bugs Be Gone should be in every saddlebag. I'm a fan. Thank you, Howard. The Bugs Be Gone, the Seafoam engine treatment to keep the cylinders happy, the amazing deep creep penetrating oil, that should be a part of everybody's emergency survival kit. Buy all three. Give them as a gift. You'll be loved and appreciated. Our own local company with a global reach, including the Dakotas, Seafoam.
Unfortunately, this story might be too common the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings. But on Monday afternoon, an 11-year-old boy was shot and killed in Folwell Park in Minneapolis. He was in a car. Police cannot confirm whether the child was the intended target of the shooting or if he was just caught in the crossfire. I would suspect he was caught in the crossfire, but what do I know? And, of course, all of the usual people who pop up to speak about such things and share their outrage with obvious justification. Of all the people who spoke, I saw on the news, I believe you have it, right, Reavers?
I do.
Don't play it yet.
I reloaded it, so just give me about 15 seconds.
Do we know the woman's name?
I will have it for you just momentarily.
I don't know.
She gets introduced in this clip.
Oh, a woman, obviously a mother, spoke up and said, the only thing I've heard that makes absolute sense when these nonsensical things happen. You know, she didn't come out and say, you know what we need is another playground. Well, that would have been stupid. The kid got shot at a playground. Right. So we hear from this woman a tremendous, well, her name's Angela Williams. There, I just found it myself. She lives a few blocks from Folwell Park. She said she was concerned when she first heard about the shooting, but that concern turned into action when she heard the victim was an 11-year-old boy. Yeah.
Tonight, we've learned police are increasing patrols in the area where an 11-year-old boy was shot to death in Minneapolis. City Council member Latricia Vita has identified him as Amir Atkins. The shooting happened Monday in Folwell Park, right in the middle of the afternoon. Joe Mason went to the park to talk with neighbors and to learn more about the stepped-up security there. Joe?
Kevin, those increased patrols will be by Minneapolis police and Park police, and we know of at least one event scheduled for tonight has been postponed. Today we were at the park and we found heartbreak, anger, and fear. It seemed like another day in the park, but this was far from just another day. Less than 24 hours earlier, here at Folwell Park, an 11-year-old boy was shot and killed.
It is a tragedy. It's somebody's son, maybe somebody's brother, somebody's student.
Not surprisingly, Kelly Yetters said somebody's student. She's a teacher, called this neighborhood home for more than 20 years.
Sadly, it's not uncommon for a shooting to take place.
She's thinking about the unimaginable loss of a child by a bullet here, but kept trying not to.
At the same time, it is also hard to not make yourself a little bit numb to it, because otherwise, how do you cope?
And some here are tired of coping with the violence, with the loss of young lives.
And it just broke my heart, because I was like, we can't keep letting this happen.
Angela Williams lives near the park, and she believes for the violence to stop, it must start in the home.
This ain't got nothing to do with politics, the economy, nothing. It's got everything. It has everything to do with parents taking responsibility for their children.
On Wednesday, Angela will hold a community meeting at the park against the violence. She hopes parents will be listening.
You know who in your house got a gun. You know who in your house selling drugs. You know about all of this stuff. You know, stop hiding behind fear. Why are you scared of your own kids?
This is just as much risk.
The fear of violence didn't stop Alyssa George from coming to Folwell Park.
That's enough.
I feel like it's happening.
Because I don't think anyone else spoke as plainly as she did, Angela Williams.
That meeting is today, by the way.
Now,
I wonder who will attend. Who's going to attend that meeting?
That's a good question.
She's right. This isn't politics. This isn't the economy. This isn't socioeconomic conditions. This is parents who don't give a bleep what their kids are doing.
But will this meeting turn into a political outcry?
Is it arranged by Angela Williams? Did she say she's arranging this meeting? She's taking action.
She made it sound like that. And Matthew, to answer you, yeah, it will. It probably will. It always does.
Now this lady talked about parenting and being accountable for your children.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the meeting should be about.
Are single parents afraid of their children, their teenage children that might be strapped and selling crack?
They might be now.
Might be. But this is an 11-year-old.
This was an innocent bystander. Think of all the life that you've lived since the age of 11 that this kid doesn't get.
Well, here's what I want to know. Was he riding in a car driven by gangsters, and he was...
I was under the impression he was playing in the park.
Yeah, I thought he was
in a car, I thought.
John?
Can that be verified?
Maybe a car parked in the...
I thought he was in the park, but I can check.
Yeah, I was left with the impression that he was playing in the park. And, Joe, it's a wonderful park. It's 2 long blocks long by... 2, 4, 6 short blocks wide. It's got the typical 4 baseball fields, the pool, the wading pool, the play area, 4 tennis courts, another softball-like looking field, and plenty of parking, park building. You know, it resembles every other park in Minneapolis. A wonderful park for the neighborhood.
I think there's an important distinction that we need to establish. If he was just a kid playing in the park, then obviously he was caught by crossfire. I seem to recall that my initial reading of this was that he was in a car.
He was put in a car by the Good Samaritan. Good Samaritan was going to take him to the hospital in the car, and then saw a police officer. He was near his house, the 11-year-old.
Well, and this might very well have been a case of a tuned-in mother who said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "I'll be at the park." And she said, "Okay, that's cool. We all do that."
Right.
And the poor kid gets shot. So I wanted to know, we don't know that. That might be established today at this meeting. We don't know that. A
resident near the intersection said he heard cries for help and found the 11-year-old boy in front of his house.
Okay.
So,
well, this kid might have gone over to play kickball. In other words, I was wondering, is he the brother of somebody dealing? Was he the cousin of some gangster riding around? No, he was not in a car. I'm wrong. He was not in a car. He was put into a car driven by a Good Samaritan who tried to help him. But
all those
Williams,
other kids know that were there, and whoever shot this 11-year-old, they know who they are.
Yeah, they do.
They got a.
I don't doubt the cops will find the guy.
They got a what?
We got to find. Somebody's got to talk, so they can.
Somebody's got to sing first, and it sounds like nobody's talking.
But
out of fear.
But I wish
out of
more
fear of what?
Retaliation.
Oh,
your house
not
is
incarceration.
Next. Oh no, your house is next.
Okay, Snitches get stitches, man.
That's what needs to be addressed. Then.
Well, you just mentioned something accidentally.
Thank you.
No one's afraid of incarceration.
No, God, no.
We don't punish these people. No one's afraid of that. But this Angela Williams, whoever she is, she nailed it. This isn't politics. This isn't race. This isn't the economy.
It starts at the home.
And she's not talking about the unsupervised 11-year-old. She's talking about the presumably young people driving around in a car shooting at people.
Okay, Kenny then brought up a good point. What if you are that single mom, you're working 2 jobs, so you're not home all the time. If you know that your son, Frank, is dealing drugs, how do you deal with that? She is going to be afraid of him. She is going to be afraid of the people he hangs out with that don't give a rat's.
That apparently was not the case here.
But I'm saying people that go to this meeting that are called out, what does that single mom do when dad's not around and Junior is in a gang or selling drugs? She can't turn him in.
I don't know how to handle that. I don't have the answer. Do you?
Why does that happen in Garage Logic?
No.
I love Garage Logic.
The follow-up story does say that apparently he was in the park and his older brother was with him. So I don't know. And his older brother ran to this fella's house and said, "My brother's been shot." And that's when the Good Samaritan came and helped.
Do you have the answer?
I don't have the answer.
Then be quiet.
Well, but I raised the questions. I want to know why doesn't it go further?
I wish we knew.
Seems so futile, doesn't it? There is no simple answer.
Well, it also seems utterly hopeless.
Yeah.
It's just a cycle. It's going to continue to go this way because nobody has answers.
This 11-year-old might have been well-loved and well cared for.
Okay.
Sounds like he walks across the street to the park.
You're right, but the majority are not. We're always worried about feeding them. We're not worried about teaching them proper.
Food has just become a Trojan horse. Food is just a means of fraud in this state.
Let's see. Is that Jeremiah Ellison? Is that Ward 5?
Either that or Latricia Vito.
Oh, it's Vito.
It's Latricia because she's the one that named
she came forward.
the shooter.
Yep. It's Latricia.
And she's not. She's on the right track. She can't stand this. She knows what the problem is.
Right.
But just like we can't discuss broken windows because the left will seize upon that and call you a racist for it. You can't go down this route, which is why I'm so glad Angela Williams done, because she happens to be a black mother or black woman. She gets to say it. If I say it, I'm just an old white racist.
And when you point out crime,
I'm an old white racist.
Exactly, it's the same.
We need Latricia to stir things up, give them what's for, raise up her voice, make a big stink. We all need to get behind Vito.
Well, I mentioned yesterday we came upon this preposterous fishing for grievances by a supposed intern for the Star Tribune, contacting residents of Bloomington. If you're a person of color, do you think your power outages last longer than other people? You know what? That's the least of the problems that papers should be looking at. That's the least of the problems.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, their staff is declining like other papers, but a team of reporters should be put on this. That's your problem. And you got to quit using euphemisms. You got to start calling this problem what it is. Absence of males, inattentive parenting, and don't ask me what am I supposed to do if they're both working. I don't know the answer to that.
I know. But that is, if you found the answer to that, that would be the solution.
But this is made more complex by the idea that this was just pure innocence and happenstance. There's been a number of innocent children killed in crossfire in Minneapolis. Some of that has not yet been solved. There are parents and grandparents in Minneapolis still attempting to get to the bottom of this stuff. In fact, it might have been mentioned here. What am I reading? This happens to be a Carol Evans piece. In 2021, a 10-year-old was shot in a car. Then there was a 9-year-old girl shot on a trampoline. Remember that one?
I do remember that.
Yeah. Then there was my 6-year-old granddaughter who was in the backseat of a car eating a Happy Meal. This is a fellow named Wilson. What's his first name? I'm not seeing it here.
Are these all fatalities?
Yes.
Yeah.
Years ago, the girl that got shot in her house. This is going back to Angela Williams. She lives just a few blocks from Folwell Park. She says she was concerned when she first heard about the shooting, but that concern turned into action when she heard the victim was an 11-year-old boy. Mothers, fathers, whatever role you play in a child's life, get your household in order, Williams said. She and a few other neighbors are organizing an event for 2 p.m. today at Folwell Park. The goal is to bring community members, parents, and local leaders together to talk about youth violence and how to tackle the issue as a community. Well, the politicians will be useless. They feed off this. They're useless. Angela Williams, you don't need anyone there except you to give that same speech. People know what is in their house. They know who got a gun. They know who is selling drugs. They know who is causing this calamity, Williams said. She doesn't need, I stand by Latricia Vito. If Latricia Vito wants to join her, that's great. Longtime community activist K.G. Wilson
is encouraged by the effort because he is worried this recent shooting could kick off another summer of violence. And he's the one who said, "This reminds me of what we saw back in 2021. That year, it started out with a 10-year-old shot in a car. Then there was a 9-year-old girl shot on a trampoline. Then it was my 6-year-old granddaughter who was in the backseat of a car eating a Happy Meal," Wilson said. That's KG Wilson. So for 3-4 years, he's been looking at this.
Right.
Minneapolis Park Police are working with other local law enforcement agencies to maintain safety at the parks this summer. Several law enforcement agencies are planning to announce their safety plans for the 4th of July holiday during a media briefing next week. Next week is 4th of July week, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So Angela Williams is this woman's name, and I saw her on the news, and I thought, well, lady, you are speaking the absolute truth.
I do not know if this is the same person, but I see in the general election, and Angela Williams ran for Ward 4. Of course, Latricia Vital won that. But there's an Angela Williams listed. I'm trying to find out if it's the same one. I can't tell.
Huh.
Nice piece in the Star Tribune today. A5. Paul Walsh and Lewis Krauss wrote this. And talking about this kiddo, our precious, his nickname was Mir, left this world far too young at just 11. He described him as a beacon of light in our lives, a joyful, loving child whose laughter filled our hearts. He had a unique spark that touched everyone he met.
Okay, and I hate to be the guy who says this, but we hear that upon every death.
But this was
who was he surrounded by?
This was his uncle.
Yeah, I know. And God loved them. They're saying these things. They're grieving. I get that. But what was the environment? No, see, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
I think you are, Joe.
I have no idea. He's an 11-year-old kid who went across the street to the park. That's all I know.
Joyful 11-year-old.
Yeah. Okay, but I think it's right to ask what was his.
No, it isn't, because
we talked that way about the shooters.
Not yet.
We need
we
more
talked
time.
that way about the shooters.
Okay.
Yeah. And I still don't know if he was caught in the middle or if this was gunfire elsewhere and the bullets just kept traveling. They missed their intended and hit this innocent kid. But that has not been made clear.
Right.
But hopefully that'll eventually come out.
Say, we know winter takes a toll on your garage door. How about summer? I bet ours goes up and down 50 times a day.
You get a lot of visitors?
Yeah, they're coming up.
Yeah, people coming and going.
Latter-day Saints a couple times a week.
Yeah, I don't let them in.
A lot of appointments?
Yeah.
What's that whole kingdom thing?
What is that? I told you the story of my neighbor.
Yes.
Didn't I?
Yes,
and he stood in the window and he waited for these clowns to show up, and he brought them in. It said, "Come on in here. Let's have a chat." And those guys couldn't get out of there.
You just described my father-in-law.
What's that whole kingdom thing?
See, I would have run out to the garage and just stayed there because my garage door would work, because I've had Precision Door visit. They have visited. Mm-hmm. They've taken care of some things. And right now, if you need a new door, Precision Door, they serve western Wisconsin, the entire metro. Precision Door offers, for your budget, models of doors for every budget, and they send out a garage door designer. That consultation is all free. And if you get a new door now, Precision Door is throwing in the garage door motor. That's a value of more than $760. They're really good. The GLers have weighed in. They've put this telephone number into their phone for Precision Door, 612-263-6985. You can also go online and either schedule a routine repair order or a request for a visit. They let you know when they're on the way, or you could set up your appointment for a new door visit at Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
I've been attending the Joe Souchere School of Broadcasting for about 15 years now. So
Well, it
I'm
ain't
gonna
working,
do
is it?
This Hofferman Water ad in the vein of Joe Souchere. What the hell's the matter with you? Why haven't you bought a water treatment system yet from Hofferman Water
I
in
don't say
Connecticut?
that with a client.
No.
But anyway, if you're on the fence right now, get in touch with my friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut, because right now is a great time to have them come out for that free water analysis.
Why?
Because you schedule that appointment, Joe, one of two ways. Spring and summer are a fantastic time to upgrade the quality of your water. You do that either by calling them directly at 612.
Does the water get cold?
Yes, or hot.
No, it's deep. No, it's deep.
The water can get cold and it can get hot. You know, it's an either or situation.
Yeah, but in the summer, man, you want a cold glass of water.
You do.
Yeah.
Makes great ice, too.
I bet it does. Is
crystal
it clear?
612-895-2440 or visit their website, which is hoffermanwater.com. Thanks for the assist, you two. I appreciate it.
You know, I should check them out because I'm in South St. Paul, and we don't use the utility room sink very often. And I
she a little orange
turned her on, and it was like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory River coming out of there. I should maybe have them check it out.
Well, Rook, go to hoffermanwater.com, because when you go on that website, you can book your appointment, and you can also see every single water treatment system that they have to offer when you go to hoffermanwater.com.
I like the chocolate version.
I still like a good drink of water from the hose.
Ice cold?
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Ice
it.
cold.
Right from the hose.
A lot of nutrients in that hose water, isn't there?
I got a question. I got a question about
That's a good
that.
way of putting it, Chris.
I got
Thank
a
you.
question about that. If your hose is sitting there curled up in the sun all day,
Go see your doctor.
the first 3 minutes of using that water, the water is very hot. Is that bad for the plants?
I don't
is
think
hot
so.
water bad for plants, I wonder?
I don't think that would do. Okay, boiling hot water
Well,
might.
it's not boiling, but it's pretty damn hot if your hose has been sitting in the sun.
Are you getting complaints from the plants?
I've had a few chats.
Are they saying we'd like the water cold,
Can
sir?
you tune this down here, fella?
Freddie Glasso, the late great Freddie Glasso, would probably say, if it's so hot that it's damaging to the roots, yes. But you wouldn't know
How
that.
do I know that?
Get rid of that
wouldn't know
billboard,
Tim.
Chris.
Oh, no, we ain't done yet, because I haven't sold it
Oh,
off.
I'm sorry.
Jim, you're getting a freebie today, man.
Yeah,
Jim,
holy
you've had
mackerel.
enough.
Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Do me a favor, mention that the plant king, Joe Souchere, sent you today.
Here's John Heidt.
Thank you, Joe. This news update brought to you by North American Banking Company. Before we get to news, I have some sports, and I think we got to throw it to Kenny for a minute on account of. You want to know why?
Not for sports.
Because there's
On account of.
some traffic.
Let me tell you something. These are the salad days for traffic reporters.
Oh, you are in high clover.
On account of the many, many closures.
These roundabouts had tornadoes.
Especially this weekend. Let's talk about the one that's going to most affect Joe. The rest of us don't matter as much as Joe.
It's all about me, baby.
That being the full closure of eastbound 94 from 280 over to 35E. The whole midway, 280 to 35E, eastbound closed 10 p.m. Friday until 5 a.m. on Monday. There's going to be ongoing closures all summer.
What about 35E itself going north?
As I was saying, there's going to be ongoing closures all summer on 94 as they're painting bridges along the way. Your question, sir. What was
35E going north is available?
You'll be fine. Yep. Yeah. So hop on the practice and just stay on it until the forest lights
So let me just repeat. Eastbound 280 to 35E will be closed.
All of St. Paul. Why'd you just think of that?
Okay.
Eastbound 94 from 280.
Okay, 94 to 280
goes north
35E.
and south.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I needed repetition.
Now, news for the rest of us, also closing for the weekend. 494, that one's a little confusing. Let's just generally speak here and say both directions of 494 shut down between 100 and 77, and both directions of 35W closed between 494 and Highway 62. They are tearing down some bridges there. I think it's westbound 494 at 35W. Therefore, they have to close everything in sight. So those three main closures lasting the entire weekend. By the way, already closed Highway 55 in Plymouth between West Medicine Lake Road and Revere And then we've got lane
That might
closures.
affect me.
We've got lane closures on Hiawatha and 490. I mean, it's a mess in the Twin Cities.
Will I be able to give Byerly's employees pick them up and bring them to work before I buy a steak?
And to make things more confusing and harrowing, it's Pride Parade weekend in the Twin Cities, so we're going to see a lot of extra folks in town.
Kenny, I have to ask you a question. I know you hate traffic questions.
Yeah.
Because I had a little bit of a tirade when I got here today because rain obviously makes everything bad.
Yeah, well, leave a little earlier, pal.
I did, but here's my question. It took an hour and 15 minutes just to get to Bloomington yesterday afternoon.
Let me tell you something. I started this report, and I'll finish this report the same way. These were the salad days. I mean, high clover. If you're a traffic reporter in this Twin Cities metro area, you are happy due to people like Reavers.
Oh,
Kenny, what did you mention about Pride Day? Parade?
It's Saturday.
Saturday
we missed an
downtown.
opportunity.
It's expensive to live in the unsustainable urban core, but I'm not sure the trade would be worth it to have the commute you face. In other words, there must be a way to put a monetary value on the commute to see if it's worth it.
It is still, to me, worth it.
Chad Hartman on Twitter is accusing me, and he says these closures are my fault. I deny that, but I have changed my name to Kenny Munchausen. So
Kenny Munchausen.
Here's John Heidt.
We missed an opportunity again this year.
What was that?
At Pride Parade.
Yes, man.
Selling pride flags.
Why should we?
I know a guy. He's an old grandpa. He is as far right-wing as can be. But he realized that if he ordered pride flags and sold them there every year, which he did for 10 or 15 years, they fly off the shelves. He made so much money. He just kept his mouth shut. And he just said, hey, I'm selling.
I would like to get GL flags.
Oh, I'm sure those would go well at Pride Parade.
Yeah. Gay lesbian.
I think if you and I got some tight shorts and some crop top shirts, we could go down there and make a mint.
I'll go like the cop and YMCA.
I'd sure like to hear John's news.
Or Village people.
Why did the industry not ever make an appearance at Pride Parade?
They would have.
Too dangerous.
Yeah, too dangerous because you know what? Well, I won't say.
Yeah.
The community refers to guys like me as bears. I'm a big hit.
What am I?
You're kind of
easy.
John Heidt in the newsroom.
That's all we got time for. Thanks, folks.
Yeah, okay. Happy Pride Day.
You know, one more traffic note.
Oh, boy.
Even, maybe it's me, but every place I drive in the city, in the suburbs, etc., has construction going.
It's been pretty rough lately.
I forgot to mention your part of town, John. Highway 10, major project there.
Yeah, they're having fun digging everything.
You know what I feel sorry for?
What do you feel sorry for?
Well,
Joe?
I feel sorry is too strong. There's a McDonald's at the foot of where 10 turns north.
Yep.
In Anoka. There's a big McDonald's there that probably was the biggest moneymaker McDonald's of all time because there was a stoplight right there.
Sure.
And the kids probably would be screaming, so all you had to do was take the light, take the arrow and go in. Now they're shut off from the freeway goes right past them and there's no exit.
Oh, so they got to U-turn it somewhere or turn off down the road?
It's amazing. I think they might be out of business.
Right. What street is that? Do you know?
I don't
10.
know.
All right, that was
it's off at 10.
I think
south
it's
of St. Cloud.
You're westbound on 10, and you have that curve that takes you northbound on 10, going up to Elk River. It's at that curve right there at the foot of Anoka.
No such curve exists, but go ahead, John.
I know.
It's a curve.
Just agree.
On account of I've seen it.
On account of
John, very briefly, we have a town council member that wants to weigh in on traffic as well.
Jeez.
Didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the counter, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
That's it. You're right, pal.
Guy did his homework.
That's my favorite.
On account of, you want to know why?
In a sports
See, you
note.
either need it on account of or you know why.
But no,
you
you
didn't need both of them.
No, that's a combo platter.
Is it?
Yep.
All right.
You know what? Since we've already wasted 10 minutes here, Let me.
John, are you still going? Shouldn't
let
we
me
be
say-
done?
I'm in no hurry today.
Let me
I'm
say
not
hi.
going anywhere.
Yesterday, I was at the Andover Farmers Market, and Scott ran me down. Scott was out at O'Gara's with us.
Yeah.
And he says he's also going to be in Wisconsin with us on July 12th. Yeah. So.
What does he say?
Scott.
Just Scott. Scott's GL listener.
Oh.
Is he a town council member? Do we know?
Probably not. But I
Okay.
think we're doing the show right now, right? And he listens to the show every day.
Cool. We'll see you there, Scott.
Yeah. Now then, 101, huh? In sports, with the NBA approving the sale of the Timberwolves yesterday, new owners Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez say they won't move the team, but they did say they need a new venue.
Go bleep yourselves because you just got the deal of the century on a professional team. Use your own money to build a new stadium. Not you, A-Rod, because you don't have a nickel.
In a Star Tribune story from today,
The other guy. It's the other guy.
In a Star Tribune story from today, Rodriguez quoted as saying, "It is necessary component to any business, especially us who are in the middle market. You need the revenue. You need the economic model to be able to generate more revenue and then pull that revenue back in just like a virtuous kind of flywheel, right?"
No, don't say the word right.
He did.
And
That
you stole that team from Glenn Taylor, so don't give me this crying in the stadium. Oh, I can't take it.
Ideally, they said they'd like an arena in downtown Minneapolis because having the Twins, Vikings, Wolves, and Lynx does so much for the community, Rodriguez said. But they have to find a location with what he calls the right kind of footprint to support their vision of an all-encompassing arena entertainment district around the area.
Then you build it.
I've got a good idea. There's
You
a spot.
stole the team.
There's a spot right there between Target Field and First Avenue, the nightclub, that would be perfect for an auditorium right there. Parking, nightlife, the whole thing right
You
there.
mean right where Target Center is?
Yeah, right there. Right there.
Mark Lowry said they haven't discussed the specifics of where the funding would come from for the project, but, quote, they were prepared to fund it privately.
Good.
There
you
go,
better, because you just got a hell of a deal.
In news, not a good story from Wabasha County. A man is dead, his father injured after the tire of the car they were working on exploded. Deputies responded to the scene in rural Lake City and found 34-year-old Joshua Mochning, who was later pronounced dead. His father, Joshua Mochning Sr., was brought to St. Mary's Hospital with injuries to the face. Wabasha County officials say the two men were working on a tire when it exploded. Law enforcement is asked.
Stop.
Yes.
What? What do you mean they were working on a?
They either overfilled it, or have you ever reseated a tire using carb cleaner?
No, but I've watched it. I've watched the tire places do it.
It's fun, but it's a little frightening.
Well, then don't do that.
Well, it's too late. I already do it all the time.
All right.
Law enforcement asking for help to locate 35-year-old Jarrell Valdez Martin, who was in court being sentenced when he escaped yesterday morning. A judge had just sentenced Martin to 60 months in prison for a case involving felony possession of ammunition or firearms. And while prosecutors approached the bench, a woman who came with Martin gave him his phone despite deputies asking her not to do so. The deputies and Martin then got into a physical altercation after they asked him for the phone, but Martin was able to get away and run out of the courtroom. The sheriff's office says he wasn't wearing a shirt or shoes when he escaped. A warrant is out for his arrest. He was not in custody at the time of the sentencing hearing. If anyone sees Martin and knows where he's at, they are asked to call 911. If you'd like to see a picture of Mr. Martin, by the way, you can go to Channel 5's website.
He's all tatted up.
Have the standards been so reduced that you can appear in court without a shirt on?
That was my first question. Why to myself? Why was he in court without a shirt on?
You're in court for your sentencing. You don't have a shirt on.
Or shoes.
Maybe he's
No
like
service.
the one guy I saw on Instagram that appeared before the with the felony court, and it said world's best farter.
Yes,
and it
I
looks
saw
like it's
that.
supposed to be father,
Yes.
but it's world's best farter, and the judge called him out on it.
Yeah, saw that.
I think I am.
Hennepin County attorney Mary Moriarty is announcing a new effort to target dangerous driving. The initiative comes during the time of year when Minnesota typically sees a spike in traffic fatalities. According to the Minnesota Office of Traffic Safety, sunny conditions and dry roads are more inclined to make drivers drive at an unsafe speed. There's generally more crashes during the winter, but they tend to be less severe because ice and snow make drivers more cautious. She held a press conference about an hour ago to talk about this. I don't have the details of the press conference, but apparently there will be a sort of crackdown on dangerous driving. Why don't we take a break here and hear from the rookie?
Tis the season, folks. You really need to prepare yourself for the 4th of July festivities. And as the assistant to the Deputy Commissioner of Fireworks, I have the place for you, and it's not far away if you're here locally. It is fireworksforever.com, and it is a locally owned company. It is veteran-founded in 1981. Jason and Ann are the second generation of husband and wife that are working on this beautiful, beautiful place. They have a great facility, and you can get there quick. Somerset, St. Croix Falls, just off on Highway 8. And what they want to do is they want to promote friendly and knowledgeable fireworks usage. That's all you have to do is talk to them, go to their website, fireworksforever.com, pick up what you want to buy, and then stop by the warehouse. They'll talk to you. They've got all sorts of pyrotechnics experts that'll tell you. They hand-pick and import all their fireworks, so there's no middleman. That means low prices. Their motto, more booms for less bucks. It's pretty clever. 5 minutes from the Minnesota border, both open year-round, and they have a huge selection with over 400 products in stores. No gimmicks, transparent pricing. You can see the prices on the website, but better yet, take the drive. It's a nice scenic drive, and every product in stores includes an informative product description and a QR code linking to the short video so you can see and hear what to expect from that particular firework. How cool is that? You can see what it does, so you can wow yourself, whether you've got a fireworks on the lake, backyard, or in the city. They will help you out. Check everything out online on fireworksforever.com. That's fireworksforever.com. Let them know that the Rook sent you.
Okay. And now, a man who has never had a relationship with a tree, Joe Souchere.
Oh, baby, let me tell you about Harmony Spirits.
Oh.
How about this? The slushy machine that I told you guys about last week?
Yeah. I'd like to have one.
Well, I don't think you can anymore.
No, I can't.
But the slushy machine at Harmony Spirits has been such a success that Larry sent this one in. How about this? Hey, Chris, we've got a new slushy, the Banana Daiquiri. And you can choose. See
Even
that
sounds good.
Yeah, it looks good.
You can choose rum, vodka, or, Joe, without any alcohol at Harmony Spirits.
Oh, that's dull.
Banana Daiquiri, though, boy, oh boy, that's the best part about going to Mexico, isn't it? I'll take the Banana Daiquiri.
Yeah, any daiquiri for sure.
But coming up also next week on July 5th is the car show at Harmony Spirits, and this is always such a massive turnout.
When is that?
Saturday, July 5th, Joe. Registration starts at 9 a.m. and goes to noon, and the winners are announced at 2 p.m., and this is right there at the tasting room in Harmony, Minnesota, and they always get a great turnout for that. And some of the photos that you can see on social media from the car show are really, really cool. So if you're in the area, July 5th is the day. And what's this, Joe? Help me out. This is the winner from last year.
A lot of car in the area.
What is that?
Oh, boy, I don't know.
54
Chrysler, maybe?
Cordon Bleu.
You know what? I'm going to send it to Kenny. Then Kenny will be able to help me out. You're no help to me
Might
whatsoever.
be a Chrysler.
All right, Kenny. Text message coming in your way here.
Do what now?
Yep. So anyway, go to the tasting room, say hi to Larry and Damon and the entire crew. But what you can really do to help out our friends at Harmony Spirits is go into your local liquor store and ask for the Harmony brand by name. Also, go to their Facebook page and check out their entire summer drink menu. It's fantastic. And if you want to bring your Harmony Spirits home and make those wonderful drinks, they'll do that for you as well. Just look at their Facebook page and check out that summer drink menu. But stop in and let them know that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
Thank you, Chris. In national and international news, the ceasefire between Israel and Iran appearing to hold yesterday despite several violations. An early U.S. intelligence assessment, meanwhile, reportedly found U.S. strikes set Iran's nuclear program back by months, but left its uranium stockpile and centrifuges largely intact. The report says Iran's nuclear program has been set back only a few months after the U.S. strikes and, quote, was not completely and fully obliterated, as President Trump has said. President Trump warned this morning that conflict between Israel and Iran could soon reignite. He doubled down on those claims that U.S. airstrikes had completely destroyed the program. Speaking at a press conference at the NATO summit in the Netherlands, the president lashed out at what he called the fake news, slamming MSNBC, the New York Times, and CNN for publishing those leaks, suggesting the damage from the bombings was limited.
Did he tell Israel and Iran, don't make me come in there?
Meanwhile, President Trump praising a commitment by NATO allies to raise their military spending to 5% of their economic output over a decade, claiming victory at a summit in The Hague. The president threatened to punish Spain's expressed reluctance in a trade deal, but it was not clear how he could do that because the U.S. is negotiating with the European Union, not individual countries within the bloc. U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s new vaccine advisors began their first meeting this morning under intense scrutiny from medical experts worried about America's access to life-saving shots. At least the meeting opened as the American Academy of Pediatrics announced that it will continue publishing its own vaccine schedule for children, but now will do so independently of that other organization, calling it, quote, no longer a credible process. Zohran Mamdani, as Joe told you earlier, declaring victory in New York City's Democratic mayoral primary Tuesday night after Andrew Cuomo conceded the race in a stunning upset. As the young upstart, who was virtually unknown when the contest began, built a substantial lead over the more experienced but scandal-scarred former governor. Though the race's ultimate outcome was still decided by ranked choice count, Mamdani took a commanding position just hours after the polls closed. Now Eric Adams will be running against the primary winner. Adams, of course, is the incumbent. He decided to run as an independent instead of a Democrat. Amid a public uproar over his indictment, Republican Curtis Sliwa, the founder of the Guardian Angels, will be on the ballot in the fall's general election also.
I believe you have something, Reavers?
Yes, Joe. This is Mr. Mamdani's campaign ad that ran ahead of the primary. Tell me what you notice.
बात ये नहीं है कि मैं क्या बनूंगा, बात ये है कि मैं क्या करूंगा हमारे कम्युनिटीज के लिए और हर एक न्यूयॉर्कर के लिए। मैं हमारे शहर को अफोर्डेबल बनाऊंगा। न्यूयॉर्कर्स मुश्किल से अफोर्ड कर रहे हैं रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान। मैं ये सब बदलने के लिए लड़ रहा हूँ। रेंट फ्री बसेस, यूनिवर्सल चाइल्ड केयर और सस्ती ग्रोसरीज के जरिए। पर आपको एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ, तुमने कभी किसी को वोट किया? बात ये नहीं।
Chris, all I could think of was Chuck Barris in the Gong Show and how I would have reached for the mallet and hit the gong.
Hit the gong right away.
And you guys, I'm telling you, read the Robert Ferrigno books.
And I know you guys didn't understand that, and there were captions associated. Basically, it was 26 seconds of an ad promising free stuff to people that come to New York.
What's even more interesting than that, it's addressed to people that have been in this country for about 20 seconds, and they're being promised all the free stuff they'll get.
A woman tied to the cult-like Zizian group and charged in the death of a U.S. Border Patrol agent appeared in federal court yesterday. Authorities have also connected the radical group, composed largely of young computer scientists, to homicides in Pennsylvania and California. 21-year-old Teresa Youngblood allegedly shot Agent David Mellon during a January traffic stop in Vermont. Mellon, you may remember, was a Minnesota native. Born in Blue Earth, he graduated from Fairmount High School in 1991 and enlisted in the U.S. Air Force in June of that year. Youngblood and her companion, Felix Buchholz, who was killed in the shootout, had been under surveillance for suspected Zizian ties. They were traveling armed, and days earlier, another suspected Zizian had allegedly killed a California landlord. Authorities linked the gun Youngblood used to a person of interest in a 2022 Pennsylvania double homicide, who was arrested in February alongside the group's assumed leader, Jack Ziz Lasota. Lasota, a 34-year-old who amassed a following through blogging, was indicted last week on weapons charges. The motives still remain unclear, but the Zizians' online writings explore anarchy, radical veganism, and gender identity.
See, I don't believe all cultures are the same. That's a belief it's a postmodern belief of the progressive movement. I believe cultures where women have to hide their faces is not as good as the American culture, for example.
Got it.
I just threw that out.
2 entertainment deaths the last couple of days. Singer, actor, and teen idol Bobby Sherman has died of cancer. Sherman was 81. He starred in the television show Here Comes the Brides in the late 1960s and followed that up with a string of top 10 hits. And guitarist Mick Ralphs has died at the age of 81. Ralphs, a member of Mott the Hoople, before quitting that band to start Bad Company with Paul Rodgers. Ralphs had suffered a stroke 6 years ago, had been incapacitated since that time.
Is there a foreignist guitar named Vivian? Who am I thinking
Vivian
of?
Campbell?
Yeah, Vivian Campbell. His Jags are for sale on Bring a Trailer.
In Portland, Oregon, U.S. Marshals and local police arrested a man Monday who they had been looking for since Friday when they said he fired gunshots at police and led them on a high-speed chase, according to the Milwaukee Police Department. Police served a search warrant at the Doug Fir Apartments on Southeast Vista Loop Drive near Highway 26 in Sandy. And here's why I read this story. This guy, he never had a prayer. They took 42-year-old Looney John Frank Toon into custody without incident. So his name was
Looney Frank Toon.
Looney Toon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looney Toon.
So he was probably arrested on account of his name.
Do you think that was his birth name, or do you think?
I think it was, Chris.
Police said when they pulled Toon over early Friday morning, they discovered he had an active felony warrant. Officers put spike strips under the rear tires of Toon's SUV, but they said that did not stop him from speeding away. He led police on a chase with speeds reaching 80 miles an hour while firing several shots through his window at pursuing police.
Luckily,
Luckily,
like a Looney Tunes cartoon. How can a guy's name be Vivian?
I don't know.
That's a good
Isn't that
question.
the name of the, that was the name of the keyboard player for Spinal Tap, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, Vivian.
I think so.
I don't know that either. Who's Campbell with? I can't even remember. He was with one of the bands I didn't like.
Foreigner or something?
No, he wasn't with Faraday. He was with like a hair band in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, his Jags for sale.
Times are tough.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Firefighters had to rescue a man who got stuck in the chimney of a Connecticut Parks building while trying to retrieve his dog from a bathroom when the doors automatically locked for the night. Police were called this past Sunday to Rockwell Park in Bristol for a burglary complaint and were told by Parks employees that someone was in the chimney, or chimney, if you want to go that way. Firefighters responded to the scene and got the man out after having to remove parts of the chimney and building, causing $5,000 to $10,000 worth of damage. Ooh. The Bristol man, who was not injured, was arrested, charged with burglary, trespassing, and criminal mischief. The man got stuck near the flue of the chimney of Mrs. Rockwell's Pavilion, a building named after a benefactor of the park. Locks on the door to the bathrooms are on new timers, and they automatically lock at 10 p.m., according to Erica Benoit, Community Engagement Coordinator for Bristol Parks, Recreation, Youth, and Community Services. It's not clear how the dog got stuck in the bathroom or how long the man was in the chimney. The doors can be opened from the inside after they are locked for the night. The dog, unharmed, according to police. Yes,
John.
There's so many things I have questions about. Just
did
so
the
many.
dog went in the bathroom?
The dog was in the chimney, allegedly, as I thought is the way I understood it. No, the man was in the chimney.
The man was in the chimney.
The dog was in the
trying to go down the chimney or trying to go up?
Unclear.
Thank you.
And the dog, what was the dog doing in the bathroom?
That's a pretty well-trained dog.
Yeah,
the dog's going to the restroom.
Excuse me, I have to go in here, Master.
He was well-trained.
And what's the name of this cat house? So-and-so's Pavilion?
Mrs. Rockwell's Pavilion. It's just a building in the park, Kenny.
I'm seeing a lot of velvet.
Yeah.
After
shag carpeting.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got a gal with the name of Benoit?
Yeah.
Very popular in high school.
It could also be Benoit, but I always take the French.
No, I think take the French version.
Benoit. Let's go with Benoit. We're in America, John. This is the United States
Oh, it's
of
the U.S.,
America.
so it's
That's
Benoit.
like the notorious David Benoit, the keyboard player.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dave-
wait, that's Benoit. Yeah.
No, we're not going with Benoit. We're going
Well, for
with,
David Benoit, we kind
we're
of
going with Benoit.
That's his name.
Forget this dog and this guy. The hell.
That does not.
What about Benoit?
No,
That's fine.
I found about 3 different stories, and the only thing I couldn't figure out is obviously this guy was up to no good, right?
Sure, it would seem that way.
But the stories all made it sound like he was just getting his dog, but then they charged him with burglary and whatever. So
the dog was smart enough to go in the restroom, but didn't realize that he could still get out, even though the doors were locked.
That is the story apparently that we're trying to pass by. Yes.
You think it was DiMaggio?
There you go.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
What are you looking for? A ray of hope?
Yes.
I hope so, because I've got one for you.
Is it the season for one?
It is the season, and this is year-round with Minnesota's Freemasons. For a couple of years now here on GL, I've been sharing with you all the great things the Minnesota Freemasons are doing. They do really big things, donating over $6 million annually to support cancer research, aging
These are
studies.
some good people.
They are, and children's communications disorders. There's over 8,000 Freemasons throughout Minnesota working together to make the world a better place, focusing on core values of friendship, personal development, and helping those in need. Kind of stuff we talk about here on Garage Logic. Now, Minnesota Masons also give away dozens of scholarships every year to tomorrow's leaders. This year, they're going to get over $900,000 in student scholarships for 2025. To date, Minnesota Masonic has given out over 13 in total scholarships. $13 million, excuse me, let me repeat that. $13 million. This is why we're such a great fan of Minnesota's Freemasons. They're donating their time, their talents to foster the next generation of business and civic leaders. And if you'd like to learn more about Freemasonry, their scholarship program, or upcoming events, super easy. The website, very simple, mnfreemasons.org. That's mnfreemasons.org.
Is there somebody using this studio at 2?
No, but at 3 o'clock they are.
A tree.
The Earth is not your mother.
Oh, yeah.
The Joe Souchere Show.
You know what? This gives me an opportunity. Sorry, Chris, I didn't realize you were going to do an ad here.
That's okay.
Joe, Tom Bernard is going to be on the Krabby Coffee Shop. We're recording after GL today. Go ahead, Chris.
No, it's all good. I'm looking
Say
forward
hello
to
to him
that.
for me.
Tell Thomas that Rookie says hello.
Hey, are you in the market for maybe a new car?
No.
Junk free?
Yes.
Check out my friends at North American Banking Company then, because here's the deal with North American Banking Company. They have been doing business since 1998 when they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you. And while a lot has changed since then, this commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities, that has not. So it doesn't matter. Maybe you're in the market for a new car that you've been dreaming about. They'll be able to help you out. Maybe you're looking to buy a home. They'll be able to help you out. And maybe finance a new home renovation project with a home equity line of credit. North American Banking Company is going to be able to help you out. And you can see the list of all of their services at their website, which is nabankco.com to learn more. 6 Twin Cities locations to serve you: Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company member FDIC is an equal housing lender. Joe?
According to the CBS affiliate in San Diego, California drivers are bracing for a substantial increase in gas prices starting July 1st as multiple new taxes and regulations take effect. Experts are divided on just how high prices will climb, but estimates suggest they could reach $6 per gallon. The first factor contributing to the price hike is an increase in the state's excise tax, which will rise by 1.6 cents per gallon. However, this is just the beginning of the cost increases. A more significant impact is expected from the Low Carbon Fuel Standard Program approved by the state's Air Resources Board. That's an unelected board in California, by the way. This program aims to reduce California's greenhouse gas emissions And we're learning that warnings have been circulating for weeks that gas prices could rise even higher, perhaps as high as $9 per gallon. High taxes and fuel standards.
Did you just say 9?
Yes. And what we're learning is high taxes and fuel standards already make California's gas the most expensive in the U.S., and the new taxes passed by the Democrat-controlled legislature and signed into law by Newsom mean there is no end in sight. One reason for the enthusiasm on the left for gas taxes is a desire to drive consumers into the EV market. California has banned the sale of new gas-powered vehicles effective 2035. I thought Trump wiped that off the books. Yet drivers have been slow to buy EVs, and Newsom's plan may be sunk by sagging demand. $9 a gallon.
I let her get too low, filled up yesterday. If I would have filled up in California 25 gallons under $9 a gallon, $225.
That's insanity.
For a tank of gas.
Wow.
What is wrong with this country when we don't like the way you're living? We want you to live our way, and in order to convince you, we're going to make your life a living hell until you bow under the pressure.
They've been gaslighting
It's called
us.
The Mystery.
Yeah.
Only because they come to us all the way from two people who have avoided the mystery by their world travels, the traveling Lymans, who are ensconced. They're ensconced. Yeah. In Mpumalanga province, South Africa, at a wild game preserve where the animals come right up to their screens and just...
Well, they're still wild, so be careful.
On this day,
June 25th,
we didn't do squat. On this day,
June 25,
in 1849, Territorial Governor Alexander Ramsey arrived in St. Paul with his wife Anna, their son, and a nurse. The governor had stayed in Mendota with Henry H. Sibley for about a month before moving to the capital. Ramsey, who was 34, found a town of 800 people and no preparations for his arrival. The family set up house in an abandoned saloon.
I like the saloon.
Yeah. And one more item. That's it. On this day,
on June 25th,
in 1977, runners participated in the first Grandma's Marathon from Two Harbors to Duluth. Named for its first major sponsor, the Duluth-based Grandma's Restaurants, the race grew to draw over 8,500 participants annually. Isn't it still called Grandma's?
Yes.
Well, so there must be still sponsorship by Grandma's.
I believe so, because it was last weekend.
Yeah.
And on this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history,
June 25th,
in 1997, the Wild were founded. I guess the only thing that would be a disappointment like that is there's still no cup in sight.
Yeah. That and one of the dumbest names in the history of
it's
sports.
A terrible name. On this day,
June 25th,
in 1999, the U of M bought out Clem Haskins' contract.
I wonder what they bought him out for. A lot of dollar. Many dollar.
On this day,
June 25th.
Now, this is a great disappointment. What's the date again?
June 25th.
In 2009, Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn were drafted ahead of Steph Curry.
They passed on him twice.
Holy smokes.
2 times, Joe. They passed on him twice.
Really? Below is a link to on this day. That's not a...
That's a cut line.
That's a cut line.
You just never know. You never know. You don't know.
You don't. Thank you, Matt, for that. Mm-hmm. And thank you, GLers, wherever you are.
It's a summer auction, and it's on GLGarageLogic.com. You all... No, I got to tell you for real. This is a really big deal. You can save up to 70%.
This is different than K-Bid.
This is way different from K-Bid, but you can save up to 70% off of many different items by checking out the Summer Twin Cities Savers Auction. It's going to run through the 26th, so save up to 70% off of all your summer shopping and experiences with the summer online auction. Mobile golf simulator rental, garage storage systems, hotel stays.
You
That's
get
a nice
so
stay.
excited you don't even know how to put your papers away.
Yes, a complete lawn care package and so much more. You can see all of the items, including that Intercontinental Hotel MSP one-night stay. It's a great bargain, but you have to get there before the 26th. Go to garagelogic.com and punch in auction in the search. Hit enter, and you will have access to everything we can see there. Motorbikes, what this is really cool.
Come on, you can do it.
Tri-State Bobcat Ultimate Lawn Care Package. The Swing Lab. They got it all. I can't cover it all here because there's too much paperwork to put away. It is the Twin Cities auction, the summer auction at garagelogic.com, keyword auction.
Thank you, Matthew. Do us a favor if you haven't done so already and subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Why do you have to neatly stack up the papers to throw them in the garbage can?
It was me.
Oh, I got you.
I lost my clamp.
He's lost his clamp, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm coming for clamp.
Clamp down.
But hit the subscribe button on the Garage Logic YouTube channel where you can watch the show live each and every single day. And you can see full segments. There's video shorts. There's behind the scenes footage. It's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube and search Garage Logic on all of our social media platforms, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And sign up for the Daily Logician. That email comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up right now at garagelogic.com. Time once again to check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again here in Garage Logic, and now is the time for you to do the same, so do not delay. Do exactly what I did and pick up that phone and dial 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. When you call that number, you're going to get Josh, and he is there for you for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation, and he will always give you the straight talk. He will never give you the sugar-coated advice, and he is on the line with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And boy, Josh, I know you're fired up about the Twins because you just want to trade Durant right now, but in other news, two of the richest men in the world have expanded their fight from rockets now to taxis. Is that right?
Rockets to taxis, but come on. Durant, they play this great music. They darken the stadium. Lights are flashing when he comes in. 3 blown saves in a row. And what is this? 2-hit batsman? Come on. You're a professional pitcher. Anyway, yeah, 2 of the richest people in the world have been trying to indicate whose is bigger than whose. First it is in rockets. Elon Musk, he's designed everything from electric cars to scooters to batteries, battery production plants, working on an underground highway, and his SpaceX space program is carrying astronauts to and from the International Space Station. His SpaceX program is, I have to say, tremendous for everything it is able to do. Can't say enough about SpaceX. SpaceX, however, is a privately held company, probably is not making a lot of money, but has tremendous amount of potential. And the SpaceX program, we'll say, has definitely replaced what NASA used to be able to do. Not to be outdone, another rich guy, and he could be, we don't know, the second or third, fourth richest man in the world. And he probably would have been the richest man in the world had he not gotten divorced. Jeff Bezos, I'll say the founder of Amazon, got involved also in space travel with his Blue Origin program. Blue Origin, which Bezos has funded primarily by his own wealth. Wouldn't it be nice if sports team owners built their own stadiums with some of their wealth and not put it on the taxpayers? Another story altogether. But in any case, Jeff Bezos personally funded Blue Origin space program, has not had the same accomplishments or same success rate, we'll say, as Elon Musk's SpaceX, but it is trending forward. at this juncture. At both of these gentlemen, both companies are competing for taxi rides. That's right, taxi, yellow cab versus checker cab. And they're doing it, or wanting to do it, without drivers. You have Tesla, which gets a boost every once and again on how well their robo-taxi may be doing. Tesla's robo-taxi started rides over the weekend in Austin, Texas, we'll say to mixed results. Amazon's Zoox has had a lot more success, and they are in the process of building more vehicles in their San Francisco-based factory. Zoox could take a significant lead as it's available in a few more cities right now than Tesla's robo-taxi. But it is going to be a very interesting development. I would say the real leader in robo-taxis is Google's Waymo, and they've rolled out in more cities than either Zoox or Tesla's robo-taxi. So now we have three, we'll say, robot taxi cab services, and then there are the other companies that also stand to benefit from the operation of these robo-taxis, including Lyft, but especially Uber, which has been really doing a good job. Uber wants to partner, we'll say, with all three of these services just so they can continue to make some money. So going to be an interesting service. Right now, the services are being rolled out in metropolitan areas that are a lot larger than Minneapolis and St. Paul. But the fight between the two rich men, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, both brilliant in their own way, going to be interesting to behold. Just as a side note, with Amazon, they continue to expand their retail business, moving into many small and mid-sized towns and offering their faster delivery. And they've also made a commitment to spend about $35 billion in an expansion in the UK, both for AI and warehousing. Amazon does not stop spending money on growth. And for a company of its size to still think of itself as a startup is amazing.
Excellent advice, Mr. Money Talk. You heard him, GLers. Now is the time for you to pick up the phone and make the call for that free 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And you do that just like I did by dialing 952-925-5608, where you always get straight talk and never, ever sugar-coated advice. Josh, once again, thank you so much for the time and the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Chris.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.